Saudi Arabia's quiet exploration of the German-built MEKO A-200 frigate is less about adding another hull to its inventory and more about redefining how the kingdom builds and sustains naval power. Emerging reports of preliminary contacts with Thyssenkrupp Marine Systems indicate that Riyadh is testing the political, technological, and industrial depth of a partnership that could sit at the intersection of high-end maritime capability and Vision 2030's localization agenda. Rather than a symbolic purchase, the MEKO A-200 is being weighed as a potential catalyst, a platform that can be tailored to Saudi threat perceptions in both the Red Sea and Arabian Gulf while anchoring long-term cooperation with German industry. For the Royal Saudi Naval Forces, the timing of this interest is significant. Over the last decade, Saudi Arabia has stitched together a diverse fleet structure drawing on French, Spanish, and American designs, including Lafayette-derived frigates, Avant-class corvettes, and multi-mission surface combatants. This mix has expanded capability but also multiplied integration, training, and sustainment challenges. Bringing in a modular European frigate family such as the MEKO A-200 would not simply add another design, it would test whether Riyadh can turn design diversity into strategic flexibility instead of logistical fragmentation. The MEKO philosophy, rooted in standardized interfaces and open architecture, gives Saudi planners the option to integrate sensors, weapons, and command systems from multiple suppliers without being locked into a single political or technological ecosystem. In operational terms, the ship type under consideration corresponds closely to the environments Saudi Arabia must now manage. The RSNF's Western Fleet faces missile, drone, and mine threats in constrained waters along one of the world's most critical energy corridors. The Eastern Fleet, based in the Gulf, is tasked with protecting offshore platforms, export terminals, and coalition operations in an arena shaped by fast attack craft, precision strike systems, and proliferating unmanned assets. Any new surface combatant must therefore combine low observability, layered air and missile defense, credible anti-ship and anti-submarine warfare, and the ability to deploy both manned helicopters and unmanned platforms. The MEKO A-200 concept, with its focus on reduced signatures, long endurance, and mission-tailored combat systems, aligns with this requirement for adaptable, multi-domain presence. What Saudi Arabia appears to be evaluating is not only platform performance but also the strategic depth that comes with it. The attraction of a partnership with a major European shipbuilder lies in the promise of a full-spectrum support architecture rather than a simple buyer-seller relationship. Lifecycle planning, digitalized logistics management, modernization pathways, and advanced training environments are increasingly decisive factors for a navy that wants predictable availability over decades of service. For a state determined to localize half of its defense spending and avoid structural dependence on any one supplier, a frigate that can be progressively Saudiized through local integration, maintenance, and upgrade work offers tangible strategic leverage. Such an approach dovetails directly with the logic of Vision 2030. The program is designed to turn defense procurement into a multiplier for jobs, skills, and technology, not a one-way transfer of revenue abroad. A modular combatant optimized for customization creates multiple entry points for Saudi engineers, technicians, software specialists, and project managers across the vessel's lifecycle. Participation in systems integration, combat management software adaptation, testing, and configuration control would gradually embed Saudi expertise into the heart of the fleet. Over time, this could reduce sustainment risk, strengthen sovereign decision-making in crisis, and position emerging Saudi yards as credible partners in regional naval projects. There is also a pronounced geopolitical layer to this evaluation. Broadening cooperation with a German industrial champion would signal that Riyadh intends to curate a balanced ecosystem of suppliers, distributing key programs among different Western partners while preserving its own freedom of action. This diversification cushions Saudi Arabia against policy shifts in any single capital and enables the kingdom to navigate export control debates with more confidence. At the same time, alignment with a widely operated frigate family would tie the RSNF more closely into networks of users who share experience on upgrades, survivability improvements, and evolving maritime threats, reinforcing interoperability with friendly states without sacrificing national customization. However, transforming preliminary discussions into a durable program would require navigating several layers of complexity. German arms exports are politically sensitive, and any major contract with Saudi Arabia would be contested in domestic and European forums. On the Saudi side, adding another sophisticated combatant design into an already varied inventory risks compounding training and logistics burdens unless the program is built on a rigorous integration roadmap from the outset. Ensuring that promised local content goes beyond basic assembly to meaningful transfer of methods, tools, and intellectual property will be essential to maintain credibility. Failure to align expectations on both sides could slow progress or dilute the strategic value of the entire venture. Despite these challenges, the underlying rationale for pursuing the MEKO A-200 as an option remains strong. A carefully structured arrangement could simultaneously harden Saudi Arabia's maritime defenses, improve protection of shipping lanes and energy infrastructure, and foster a domestic industrial base capable of supporting future generations of surface and unmanned combatants. Unlike legacy acquisitions that treated ships as finished products, an incremental, partnership-based model would recast frigates as evolving platforms, continuously updated, digitally supported, and integrated into a wider surveillance and command network stretching across both coasts. Ultimately, the exploratory engagement around the MEKO A-200 functions as a litmus test for Saudi Arabia's maturing approach to sea power. If Riyadh can secure a deal that balances operational performance, political acceptability, and substantive localization, the result would go far beyond the introduction of another modern frigate. It would confirm that the kingdom is moving toward a procurement doctrine that is competitive, diversified, technologically ambitious, and anchored in domestic capacity building. Whether this prospective program materializes or not, the direction of travel is clear. Saudi Arabia intends to shape, not merely receive, the architecture of its future navy.